going to guess that instance was similar to you because you clicked on this video. I understand everybody starts somewhere when approaching fitness, so I broke down the approach into a few simple steps to help you reach your goals. Part 1, understand your motivation. The most important thing to understand when talking about what motivates you is the difference between an extrinsic and an intrinsic motivator. An extrinsic motivator is a reward. Let's say, for example, you go to the gym 3 times this week, so you decide to reward yourself with some ice cream. This could be beneficial to help you go to the gym, but it's only really beneficial if you've already developed a discipline to not buy the ice cream in the first place, if that makes sense.
I will say I did get ice cream just for this segment, but it's okay because I'm trying to put muscle on, so some extra calories, but I'm very excited about that. Thanks for clicking on the video.
So instead, I like to turn to intrinsic motivators, which are motivators that motivate you for the simple case of wanting to better yourself. These are all internal motivations. For example, I like to lift weights because I know it'll make me look better, feel better, and be stronger. These are all intrinsic because the motivation stems directly from wanting to better myself. Another intrinsic motivator I use is wanting to hit PRs. It always makes me feel so great mentally whenever I'm able to increase the weight on my bench press or squat or deadlift or whatever it may be. If I can move more weight, it makes me feel better. And that's an intrinsic motivator that really motivates me to want to get in the gym and get better. Another example I could use for motivators that aren't fitness related are these videos that I make. An extrinsic motivator you could use as an example would be making these videos for monetary gain from ad revenue. However, I don't make money on these videos yet. So I mainly use an intrinsic motivator, which is my general hobby for wanting to make social media content and wanting to improve upon that skill. So you should definitely subscribe if you're enjoying it. But that leads me to my next part though.
Part 2, plan your goals.
So you have already figured out your motivators. That's great. Now you need to set forth some goals. Where do you want to be in a month? How about in a year? And be realistic. It's impossible to put on 20 pounds of lean muscle or to shed 50 pounds of fat in 1 month. Learn how much of a caloric deficit or a surplus you need to gain or lose weight. There are many apps you can use to help track this simply by putting in your height, weight, age, and how active you are. The most notable of these is probably MyFitnessPal, which is one I've used in the past and is by no means a sponsorship, but it's just a great app you can use to help track. But there's definitely others that you can find too if you look into it. Part of creating goals means to create a plan too. Learn about different exercises and muscle groups, and plan out what you're going to do at the gym each and every day throughout the week. Now, I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you out at once, and doing all of this can be a little tedious, but doing part 3 can help out with that. Part 3, become involved. Surround yourself with people who have the same goals as you. When I train for track and field, it's so much easier to improve when I have teammates surrounding me that are doing the same workout that I'm doing. If I'm on my own, I might slack off a bit, and there's nobody to hold me accountable. However, if I'm with one or more other people doing the same workout, we hold each other accountable, and we try to push ourselves to one-up each other. If I want to start learning how to play the guitar, for example, I'm not going to just be able to strum a chord easily, right? I'm going to have to learn how to do that. The same philosophy applies to the gym. I would go to the library and pick up a book about playing the guitar, how to strum chords, things along that nature. Or I would follow accounts on social media that, teach you how to work out or just workout related content. So it'll show up in my feed so I can A, learn something, or B, become inspired. This is the exact same with working out. If you want to start working out, you should do the same thing. You seem to have already taken a good first step by clicking on this video, but the next step would maybe be subscribing to me. But if not to me, there's hundreds to thousands of other fitness influencers out there whose job it is to create content that pertains to your interest, which is working out. But when watching these influencers, it's important to remember part 4. Part 4, stay realistic. I briefly mentioned staying realistic earlier, but I feel it's so important it deserves its own step. There are a lot of influencers who lie. Steroids are a huge part of the fitness industry. So remember that just because someone has a really good physique does not mean it's obtainable naturally. I also understand that some people don't want to go to a gym because of their current weight, and they feel like they would be made fun of or judged.
I'm going to cut myself off while editing. It seemed like I was just reading from a script and it was pretty corny. So I'm going to briefly explain what I was talking about right here without a script. So I was talking about how a lot of people are very self-conscious about going to the gym, and that's very reasonable. The best advice I could give you is that 99% of people do not care, right? if they see you there, they're gonna be, they seem like they'd be happy for you to be there, but even then, like, they don't care, right? They're there working on themselves. Now, there are like another 1% of people who are jerks and will like pick on someone who are there to better themselves, but those other 99% of people are going to realize that that person's a jerk. They'll be on your side. If you just jump into the fitness community at all, no matter what you look like, no matter what your physique looks like right now, or your level of training, whatever, you will have support. And that's the best advice that I can give you.
You may be self-conscious right now, but taking the step to...
All right, I can't stand listening to myself while editing these videos, but what I was saying while reading the script was that you should be incredibly proud for at least clicking on this video. That's a very good first step that you've taken. So, but that leads me to my next step, which is...
Part 5, just jump into it. I first started working out because of my involvement in sports in school. I started running in elementary school and I started lifting weights in high school for football. I still think to this day that joining football was one of the best decisions I ever made just because I learned how to lift properly. Now, I realize not everybody has this opportunity. However, one thing about my situation still relates to all the things I've said before. I had to just jump into it. I was a complete beginner once too. If you're scared or nervous or have just been putting it off, my best advice I can give to you is to just jump into it. All the parts I mentioned before are prevalent to my situation. I understood my goals. I wanted to be fit and I wanted to play sports. I knew my motivation. My intrinsic motivators were I wanted to look good, I wanted to feel good, and I wanted to play sports with my friends. I wanted to one-up my friends in the weight room. I became involved. I participated with my teammates. I followed fitness accounts on social media, fitness journeys, fitness tips, fitness challenges, whatever it was, but they all related to fitness. I knew what the limitations of the human body were, and I knew what the limitations for someone my age were. Was I hoping I'd be as fast as Usain Bolt someday? Sure. Is it realistic? Not necessarily. However, it could happen someday. But I knew it wasn't crazy realistic in case it didn't happen someday. In conclusion, this is what I can leave you with. Chances are you searched up this video or came across it and decided to click on it. For that, I applaud you. You've done more than most people have done. Now here's my challenge for you. Put it into action. You have the resources to become better right in front of you, right in front of your eyes right now. That phone you're holding, that computer you're sitting at, that's your resource right there. If you want to continue learning or want to make me a part of your fitness journey, go ahead and subscribe. If not, that's all right too. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.